All right, welcome back, everybody. David Ziebler with Ziebler and Associates. Today, I got something really special for you. I got a longtime friend, Mr. Joseph Vargas, also known as Bounce DJ with Bounce Mix Events. He's a longtime friend. He's an entrepreneur. He is a streamer and getting into the real estate game. Joe, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate it. How are you, my man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, David. Long time no see.
I know. It's been a long time. So for my listeners out there, we're creating good content for you to listen to that's entertaining, that's educational, that is something that you can get something from. And today we're gonna dive deep into my background, but of course my guest's background as well. But we share it. We both grew up in the city of Blue Island, Illinois, right south of Chicago by about 20 minutes. And we also did some training together in martial arts, specifically Taekwondo with Champion Taekwondo right off of Western Blue Island. Shout out to Mr. Freddie Godoy and Javier Elizalde, Sabanims. And tell us a little bit about yourself, Joe. I want to know. Everybody wants to know. Who are you? What do you do? How do you do it? What's the timeline? What's going on, my man?
Once again, my name is Joseph Vargas, but everyone knows me as Bounce, and I've had that name Bounce since actually the mid '90s. Again, David mentioned it. We been knowing each other since the early '90s, and Taekwondo and all that. We can get into some more stories throughout
Yeah.
the show. However, kind of fast forward to my journey as an entrepreneur, streamer, to where I'm at right now. In the 1996, actually, I started getting involved with the art of DJing.
Yeah.
So it was something that I've always wanted to do, and not professionally. I was like, all right, let me just do it as a hobby. Again, wasn't intention to DJ in front of anyone per se, but I wanted to be more of a mixtape DJ. So I ended up getting some turntables, got involved with the craft. Several years later, I ended up moving to Miami, Florida in '99, and I attended Barry University in Miami Shores, Florida. I ended up graduating with a bachelor's in business management in '03. And then I attempted to move back to Chicago, but I was loving Miami way too much. And plus, I got a great job offer to work in the sports and entertainment industry for a Chicago-based company named Levy Restaurants. Now, my office was based out of the Miami Arena, where the Miami Heat play. So I started off initially as a supervisor and eventually worked my way up to general manager. And I used to manage the premium areas of the arena for all home games and concerts and various events. So what I mean by premium areas, you have the courtside clubs, the VIP lounges, pretty much all the celebrities and all the people with a lot of money hang out
Yeah.
with. So great experience. Again, I had a team of over 100 employees I was in charge of. So learning how to manage others and schedules and you name it. So I did that for 4 years, working in that industry. And then DJing kind of started calling my name again when I found out that a DJ school, that's right, a DJ school where you learn how to DJ opened up near
Yeah.
where I was living in South Beach at the time. And this was '06. So I got involved with this DJ school called Scratch DJ Academy, created by Jam Master Jay from Run DMC. So I was involved with them initially as a student,
Uh-huh.
but again, eventually worked my way up. Being more involved with the craft and others running the business, and became head instructor. And I was with them for 10 years,
Wow.
teaching people the art of DJing and all that. So,
I love
and
it.
of course, in between those years, I started doing many events myself, clubs, you name it, and started my own business, Bounce Mix Events, which I currently own at this time, where we specialize in doing various weddings, corporate events, social events. And then once again, we'll get into details with Scratch DJ Academy. But
Yeah.
once I left them, again, full time DJ, and COVID happened, and streaming was one of the things that really spoke to me and has become a passion and now ultimately part of my career. And I've been doing that for, it's going to be approaching 4 years streaming. So
That's fantastic. So
um,
what's your streamer tag?
it's Bounce DJ. So
DJ. Okay.
I stream on the platform Twitch. So twitch.tv/Bounce DJ.
Okay.
So that's pretty much all of my handles. If you search me on Instagram, Facebook, you name it, everything is Bounce DJ. So it's pretty consistent.
Perfect. That's good branding. Yeah, that's very good. So Joe, is it okay if I call you Joe, or do you go by Joseph now?
Of course. No, you call me Joe, you call me Bounce, whatever you want. I have many names.
All right. Well, I'm going to call you Joe.
Cool.
But it sounds like you really worked your way up in a lot of different areas. I mean, right out of college, you got a job as a supervisor. Next thing you know, you're working for the Miami Heat, and you are, seeing and meeting different people, leading a team of over 100 staff. That's huge. And then, right, you decide, you know what, I'm going to do this DJ thing. It's a passion of mine. I like it. I'm going to start off as a student, and you work your way up to head instructor. What's going on, man? What's your secret sauce? I mean, that's huge.
I took a lot of risks as a youngin, but the number one thing I have to attribute to is my network. And this is one thing initially I didn't. When you're in college, you're studying the books, but I had this one author. He came out with a book called "Business is a Contact Sport," and I didn't realize what it was. I didn't realize the message behind it, but now going through all these experiences, it's you have a network of people that you've worked with over the years, and you want to keep them in your network. Just keep on staying in touch, and because at some point you never know, that person may be very helpful in your future or in your career. So sure. I would attribute to definitely the network, the people around you. That's a huge thing, and that's kind of, I guess, if you want to call it, the secret sauce.
Yeah. But here's the thing, network is very important. And I've always remembered the quote, your net worth is oftentimes directly related to your network, right? So we have opportunities, we build relationships, we build a reputation for ourselves that people can rely on and trust, and then connect us with who we need to be connected to. But Joe, don't be so humble, man. I mean, you can know people, you can get the job because you know people, you can do et cetera, things like that because of the people that you know, but you still got to perform. So
of course.
How did you perform? What made you perform so well to go from entry level management position to overseeing 100 people, which is not small? How did you go from student to head instructor?
Well, I was speaking about Levy Restaurants and working with the Miami Heat. I initially received the opportunity for an interview with one of my good friends from college. He's actually one of my best friends today. So he got me the initial interview. Okay. And so supervisor was the position available to work in the flagship lounges, again, the courtside clubs, they're called today. And it's just something that, being in that environment, the celebrities, the people who are very wealthy, and just I had a mentor there as well in the restaurant. His name was Paul Spice. We call him Old Man River. And I learned a lot from him.
Spice.
Paul Spice, that's his name.
Paul Spice. I was calling him
very
Old
cool
Spice.
Name.
Yeah, kind of like a little both.
Paul Spice, very cool guy. I learned a lot on how to interact with people, how to talk to people. One of the things that, and I still say this to this day, whether it's a celebrity or anyone that I haven't maybe even seen in a while, number one thing is I always say is great to see you. Number one thing, great to see you. It's really good seeing you today.
Yeah.
He would say that to everyone that would walk in, and again, he knew everyone in Miami. And if you're a baller in Miami, you are at these lounges or at these games. So I learned a lot from that and how to interact with people. Also, how to manage a staff. So these are little things I started picking up and becoming passionate about. And I think no matter what you do, you have to learn especially if you have your own business, you have to know your business in and out. And I made a point to, since even though I was a supervisor and I had the authority, I still related to the bartenders, the busboys, the dishwasher in the back, because I had all those positions growing up when I was a kid. I filled all those positions, so I know what it's like to be in those situations. And so I would relate to a lot of the staff, and really my goal was to really learn the business in and out. And at the same time, though, I have to admit I was a little quiet. I've always been a quiet kid all around. And when I was working in that industry, I was very quiet. So I was doing a lot of the work. Even though I had a superior above me, I was doing most of the work. And of course, your supervisor or your authority is going to get recognized. And
Yeah.
maybe not me as much. So that was very evident one time when they hired someone else to replace my boss, essentially. And I got promoted to manage one of the restaurants upstairs. And so, anyways, this is the first night of the home opener Miami Heat game. And unfortunately, the new guy that they hired, they completely bombed the restaurant, meaning, they were extremely busy and they were not prepared for the situation. Whereas my restaurant upstairs, we were the best of the night. Everything was on point. Staff was in line, zero complaints, and it made me look really good to the point where my boss's boss recognized it, named me manager of the quarter. Obviously, not just from that one night, but over other various nights.
Sure.
And obviously, when you receive that recognition, it's also, I don't need it to motivate me, but I appreciate it. And it does kind of, get you really excited because, what motivated me initially was not being recognized. And, when I would see someone else get the credit, when I know, okay, I'm putting the work in, I know what I'm doing, just give me an opportunity. And when I did get that opportunity, I was able to shine. So, again, learning the business in and out. And then when given the opportunity, you have to perform.
So learning the business in and out, acting outside of who you are, because you said you were a quiet kid, you were a quiet person out of college. You can't be quiet and do all the things that you're mentioning, right? You got to talk to people, you got to motivate them, you got to build
Of course.
relationships. But I also heard that you got to know people and get to know them and have a little bit of polish. Hey, it's really good to see you. I mean, that really greases the wheels of a person's ability to rise, right? And I'm reminded of a story. So business school, and it's kind of an apocryphal story. It's more of a lesson than something that really happened. But the business teacher at the end of the semester tells the class, finals are coming up. You will have a final. Obviously, it's next week. It's 90% of your grade. Wow, that's typically it's like like 25, 30%. So like you can pass or fail the class right now with the final, and it's only going to be one question. So good luck. Remember everything that I've said, and we'll see you next week. So the class comes in and they sit down, and everybody's been studying and they've read the books, they've looked at theory, they've done all these different things, right? And they get the exam, and it's one question, like he said, and it's, what's the janitor's name? Because what was important for this business teacher to teach these business students is that your people, right, are important. And it doesn't matter who does what, they all have value, and you need to be able to get to know them, right, on a personal level if you're going to be the type of business person that you need to be. So you did it, man. Did you ever hear
Yeah,
that
I
story?
mean, it's I still feel to this day, and I definitely always instill it in my children as well,
Yeah,
is be nice to people, just be a good person.
right.
Because again, that's all gonna come back, and people remember that. They're no matter who, and it's a situation like, especially if you're in your own business. Again, whether you're in the restaurants or even like myself, I'm a streamer. There's always someone watching. There's always someone watching you,
Hmm.
and it definitely can pay off for you because again, that one person who may be in charge of maybe that one company, or maybe in charge of this one event where I would love to go in there and work with them. That's something that they can remember. Oh yeah, he was a good person. I remember him or her, and it definitely pays off. So
That's amazing. We did Taekwondo when we were kids, right? From about the age of 8 to 13. And those were some really good years. They were some formative years, I think, that really had a big influence on me as an adult, even to this day. And you remember the virtues, perseverance, self-control, indomitable spirit, etc., courage. What do you think that experience of training so hard, both mentally and physically, did for you as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as a young man out there trying to make it in a city that wasn't his own?
Well, I mean, with Taekwondo, it was just discipline is being committed. Again,
Hmm.
going back to my craft, which is DJing, it was something in Taekwondo that you had to be disciplined if you wanted to make it to that next level. And again,
Hmm.
all of us, we will get rewarded when you get that belt, that different color belt or that stripe. And one of the goals is, okay, I want to be a black belt. And as a white belt, you're like, you would see others advance, and you're like, I want that.
Hmm.
Or you would see, and again, it was all like kind of friendly competition with us as well, because we would spar, and we would, I would see you in a match, and more my brother in a match, and oh, he's really good, and it's kind of makes you like, okay, I want to get just as good, or I
Yeah,
want,
yeah,
or
yeah.
you were even better. So it's I'm glad we had that experience, because obviously we had a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong; it wasn't just all just discipline and
Yeah, no,
and
we
all
had a
that. We had a lot
blast.
of fun,
Yeah.
but that's always a big part of it for me. It's just the discipline and being committed to something and getting that reward when you get to that next level. When you
Mhm.
realize, I am really good. When you got that black belt, you're like, man, you feel accomplished. So
Well, yeah, it's not an easy thing to do. I mean, it takes years, and it takes a lot, like you said, of commitment, discipline. Right? You had to show up. You had to show up. And I was thinking about the old days. Um, Things are so much different now when it comes to youth sports, in terms of expectations, in terms of the difficulty, in my opinion,
mhm.
the schedule. Right? I Dude, tell me if I'm wrong, but we used to practice 6 days a week for about 2.5 hours each practice, right?
Easy, yeah. It
Easy.
was something that it was part of our lives. It wasn't like, okay, every Monday we do it. No, it was something that we were committed to, and
Right.
obviously with the help of our parents as well.
Hmm.
They had the support. They supported us in doing it. So I mean, mind you, my parents were all against us being in baseball, football, all those sports that I wanted to be in desperately. I'm like, please, I just want to be part of a team.
Yeah.
And so I think after we saw the movie Bloodsport, I was like, all right, I want to do some taekwondo now.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. I want that. I want to do the spinning helicopter kick without a doubt. I want to,
Get those tights. Like, remember, John, you wore those tights with
dude, black ones.
spandex?
I got a pair on right now. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Blood sport, kickboxer, cyborg. I mean, all the great
Lionheart. Yep.
on club. Yeah, dude, Lionheart was amazing. Um, Gosh, those were good times. So we learned to show up on a consistent basis, and we put in the work, and we had a goal that we set for ourselves, and we used that desire to be better, to get better, to, in a positive way, compete with each other, right? Not compare ourselves to others and feel bad about ourselves, but look to others and see what we could become and then do the work to do that. It feels like that's what you did with working at the Miami Heat, with DJ Scratch Academy, with what you're doing now with streaming. You just show up, you do the work, you stay consistent, you believe, you see where you want to get to, and you get there, man.
And it's tough because like we all want to do stuff that we love, right? We
Yeah, yeah,
want to
yeah.
have do stuff professionally, or as a live for our living, like something that we love to do. And it's tough. I've always chosen stuff, again, going back to the restaurants, as something I really love to do. But unfortunately, it was short. It was kind of short lived, only 4 years. I was ready to move on because I felt, okay, the company itself, it's a great company, but when you're on salary and you're working in the restaurant industry, whether you work 4 hours or 14 hours, you're getting paid the same.
Yeah.
And it started putting a strain on the relationship that I had with my wife, well, at the time girlfriend, but now my wife. And things just kind of happened in a way, and DJing just kind of came up out of nowhere. Again, I was like, all right, I never thought I can, or I never even imagined myself DJing in front of people, as a profession.
Mhm.
And it just kind of turned out that way. And it was a risk, and I had, don't get me wrong, it's worked out, but I've had rough times, and
Mhm.
when am I going to get this next gig, or when am I going to get paid from this promoter? Again, when I was in the club scene, when is this promoter going to pay me? He said he's going to pay me last week, and
Mm-hmm.
you're like, oh, you're kind of struggling to find what where I can get. And in between
Sure.
that, I'm like, okay, let me get a job as an insurance agent out of Walmart, which is what I
Mm-hmm.
did. And the worst thing, and obviously I had no desire to do it. I was fired after like 2 months, and then I'm back to DJing. And so
Right.
you have these like little odd end jobs in between just to kind of get by
Sure.
and get ends meet. But it's so far. It's again, I'm no by no means do I feel I'm at the pinnacle. There's still a lot that I want to accomplish, but up until now, I feel like all of us, we go through a journey, and we learn. We go through all these situations. We learn from our mistakes, and again, going back to the network, you see who's in your network, and you see who you can work with in the future.
Mm-hmm. Man, your story is so inspiring, because I think people who are successful don't talk often enough about how hard it is to keep going, right? And the journey. People always see successful people at the end result, right? Hey, I'm a billionaire, I'm a millionaire, I have this business, I have that business, I wrote this book, I do this, but people don't see what it took to get there, right? And I really appreciate you sharing that. I want to know, I think everybody wants to know, how did you deal with the doubt, the criticisms, the losses, the intrusive negative thoughts? What kept you going? How did you do it?
I think, if you're passionate about something, you have a fire. So no matter what anyone says to you in a negative way, in your gut, you're going to still keep on going.
Yeah.
So, fortunate enough, I experienced very little in the restaurant side of things. Just very early on, I had that kind of, people doubting me, like, oh, I don't think he could run this area by himself. Let's get someone from outside the company to come in who knows what they're doing. So it's little things like that did push me, and I had that satisfaction when they said, "Man, you can run this area," and I apologize for not recognizing that.
Mhm.
With the streaming side of things, you're constantly in your head about it because a big thing, especially today, now that everything's open and everyone's living their own lives now, and no one's stuck at home. As a streamer, you're always thinking about who's in the room because you can see how many viewers are in your room. So you may put all this work, all this dedication, and there's been times where, again, early on, where I'm like, man, I only have like 10 people in my room, you know, and that can mess with you a little bit as a
Yeah.
streamer, or a lot actually. It can get in your head like,
Yeah.
why is no one in my room? But at the same time, I taught myself how to flip it. Like, okay, I don't want to worry about the people who aren't here. I want to worry about these 10 people who are in here. And, I'm sure people, as long as I keep on doing what I'm doing, I'm going to get that traction. People are going to recognize and they're going to see. And, it also goes along with what content are you putting out? Are you keeping it fresh? Are you doing different things? Are you doing things that no one else is doing? Because if you're just doing the same thing and you're getting the same results, you're doing something wrong. You have to switch it up. And
Sure.
that's one thing that I really love doing, especially, I'm very passionate about streaming, and that's why I'm still doing it. There's so many DJ streamers who have come, especially in 2020 and 2021. Now a lot of them are gone because everything's open. And same thing with viewers. We've had a lot of viewers come and go, but up until this point, we've built a very strong community, and we call it the Miami Bounce Machine. That's the name of the community on Twitch,
Nice.
and it's a very it's more than just a community. It's a lifestyle, and it's something that I've built. I'm very proud of, and we're continuing to build. And we have some goal. We have a lot of goals for the channel that we still have to achieve not only this year but going forward. So we have no
Sure.
plans on stopping.
That's fantastic, man. So tell me more about the lifestyle that is the Miami Bounce Machine. What kind of music do you play? What goes along with the lifestyle? Tell me, man. Educate me, please.
So with the Miami Bounce Machine, it was a name created for our community, and it wasn't planned at all. This happened in 2021, and you would see other streamers in their communities have a name like the M Squad, or just something kind of catchy, and I was interested in that. I'm like, I don't think we need that. But then one day, in the chat, people are like, do we have a name? We should have something. And so we did a vote, like, all right, let's uh, let's have some examples of some names that you guys like. Nothing was really good at all. I was like, And then one day, I did a stream on a Sunday, and we had a huge community from the UK that would join us every Sunday, and people just started rattling off names. And right away, I saw or I noticed Miami Bounce Machine. I knew right away that's it. That's just it, because it's obviously not only just being from Miami. It's as the machine. There are a lot of components for it
Mhm.
for a machine to work. Everyone
Yeah.
has a different role. If this part is broken, then it's the whole machine's not going to work. So just like our community or our channel, we have not only myself as the streamer, I have a team of moderators that constantly moderate the channel. We have our VIPs, our subscribers, obviously people who just come in and follow the channel. So there are various components of the machine, which is the Miami Bounce machine, that makes it work. So it's not my channel; it's our channel. So that's one thing I always preach. You may hear some other streamers say, "Oh, my channel, this, mine, that, mine, that." You're never gonna hear that out of my mouth, because this is ours. So, and that's what makes it special. And in our channel, obviously, we it's all about respect, and being able to express themselves and having a safe space, because there are times where even myself, I don't have the best day, or I may not be always be happy or anything. But you know what? You come to our channel, not only with the music that we play, which is a variety of stuff from the 70s to the 2010s, hip hop, disco, funk. And it's right away, as soon as you jump in the chat, say hello, someone's going to greet you. Me, number one, I'm always constantly reading the chat. But again, our moderators are going to greet you. Other people in the community are going to meet you. It's almost like when you go to a place, a bar where everyone knows your name, like a cheers situation.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. I
just
got
it's just like that. You come
sure.
in, it's almost like a reunion every show. Where, hey, how you doing? Oh, and we all become rather close. Where it's I don't want to call them internet friends,
Mhm.
because we obviously we all know each other from online, but I speak to more of them than my IRL friends, right? In real life friends,
Yeah. Yeah.
So we built something special, and it's something that I'm very passionate about. And my goal is to always provide something new for them, whether
Mhm.
it's new visuals, new. Again, we could really do a deep dive with what I do with the stream itself, because you may think, all right, well, you're just DJing, right? And they're just watching you DJ. No, it's more than you watching me DJ. It's a whole experience
Right.
that you, as a viewer, can take a role in making things happen on the stream. Whether it's a cool command that we create, whether it's
Sure.
something that happens here, whether you could set me on fire. Literally, you could set me on fire. I would be on fire.
Sure.
You
Sure.
know,
Sure.
like that. Little
Oh,
things
you
like
are on
that.
fire. Look at that, man.
I mean, obviously, there's a whole sequence where
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
dragon would come out and set me on fire. So,
Nice. That's
so yeah, I
awesome.
mean, we could talk all day about what I do with the streaming site, because I'm very passionate
I
about it.
love it. I can
So,
see that. I can see that. Yeah. So you have a passion for creating a community. You have a passion for engaging your audience, for providing good, clean content that allows people to get together. And it seems like this passion, this fire that you've had, and that you mentioned earlier in the podcast here, is what drives you, is what helps you get over losses, criticism, doubts, negativity, things like that, and has pushed you. So for our listeners, what do you do to keep the fire going? What do you do to keep it burning bright and hot?
is what I do is I'm never comfortable. If you're comfortable, whether it's in a job or anything, you're not gonna go to that next level. So for me, I always want to do something new. I always want to
Yeah.
continue to build, and especially I'm so passionate about this. Again, my goal is to not only just with the music, it's more than just music. It's providing an experience, and show people that you're going to come to our show, you're going to see something new every time, and you're going to it's something that no one else is doing, and that's what I really want to preach to it. And it's, again, if you're a business owner, you always want to stand out. Once you start blending in with the crowd, you're just another business.
Hmm.
So That's one thing that I strive for in the streaming game. And, I'm even looking outside of streaming too and really taking it to another level is when you see our show, it's going to be something unlike that you've seen anywhere else,
Hmm.
especially on Twitch. That's always been my constant goal, and that's what's always going to drive me is what's going to be next. Or sometimes even our community, I can get an idea just by having a conversation, and that just sparks a light bulb in my head. And that's one thing. Anytime I get an idea, I always write it down. I have a whole list of things that of what I can do for the show or for my business. And it's very important as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, no matter what you do, is to take as many notes as possible, whether they're mental or written, and um, always see what you can do next. Always what's next. That's what that's how I live.
So the ideas thing is so perfect because one idea could be worth $1 million, right? And it takes one idea to change the world sometimes, or to change your future, to change your business, to change someone's life. And I'm wondering, when you get these ideas, do you how do you write them down? Like, let's say you're getting ready for the day, and I always get good ideas in the shower. And if I could figure out some way, or the car, to get these ideas down, but not forget them, I would be set. But how do you do it? Do you have a pen and a pad just with you all the time, or what, man?
No, so obviously, if it's during stream, I'll either physically on my computer or I have again my team of moderators. They always have my back, and
Yeah.
they right away. I don't even have to ask them. They just if we're talking about something, they pick up on it, and they'll be like, "Oh, bounce. Don't forget about these certain things that we spoke about, or these
Sure.
are great
Yeah.
things we need to do this." Or if I'm driving on the phone, I just do a talk to speech situation and
Hmm.
kind of just have it as a note in that way. And you know, that's just how I do it. It's something that I don't want to forget. And you're right, man. I mean, a lot of people have ideas, and all of us have ideas, but a lot of times we don't act on them or do anything about it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I do my best. I mean, I'm not saying I have all these great ideas. I'm the smartest guy. These are just certain ideas that I feel that would help my business or our stream, and just provide that these little details. I feel it's all in the details with certain things,
Sure it is.
and that people appreciate.
Mhm.
One thing that I feel is really important to is to listen. you know in my stream, I do talk a lot. It's like a combination. It's not just you're hearing music the whole time and it's quiet. I do a lot of talking, and I express things. I express things that I've that happened to me in the past, or stuff that happened to me this week. Or I ask the chat, "Oh, how was your week? Anything you want to, is what you do this weekend, or how was that movie?" And
Yeah.
I'm very good at remembering things. I would have someone that come in, and maybe they didn't come in for 2 months, but I remember, "Oh, how's your mom's shoulder?" I heard, I remember last time we spoke,
Mhm.
so like little things like that. And I feel it's important and people really appreciate that. And if you're building a community or building a business, these little details are things that people remember, and they're like, "Oh, that's very thoughtful." And but it's not about just doing it just to do it. It's just when you're genuine, if people recognize that you're a genuine person, then I feel people are going to want to work with you, or people are going to want to be with you, or see, or just hang out with you.
Sure. Sure. Damn, dude, that's so solid. I just swore a little bit there. Sorry, everybody. Trying to keep it clean, trying to keep it G-rated here for everybody. Building relationships is so huge, whether you're in management, whether you're building your network, whether you are building a community. And there's old advice that says when you are a business owner, when you're an entrepreneur, get to know people, remember something about them, be genuine and sincere about it. And they're going to care because they know that you care. And that's another old adage, right? Nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. And when you show that you care, and when you listen to people and connect with them, and take in information for the benefit of your relationship with them, not just the benefit of your business, people get that, and they come back. They want to work with you. They want to listen to you. Sounds like the experience is pretty amazing, man. I want to go back to something real fast too that you said. I I want to quote you appropriately, but you said, I used to get on stream when I was just beginning and I was kind of feeling down about the 10 people that were in there. And I flipped the switch and I started thinking, where is everyone, to what can I do for the people that are here? And I think that is so good. I mean, that is a gold nugget for today, everyone. Write that down. What can I do for the people that are here? Because you speak differently, you act differently, your energy shifts, you become grateful, hopeful, excited, and then everybody else benefits from it.
No, definitely. I mean, it happened to a lot, and it's happened to streamers, and they stopped streaming because of that. And I get it. I felt it. I still feel it to a certain extent when I feel okay. I don't have as many people as I would imagine, or I thought I would have. But you know what?
Mhm.
You're gonna have those days because as streamers, we're competing with everything. We're competing with Netflix. We're competing with your. Again, I stream in the morning, so I'm competing with your job. I'm competing with the radio, with your family. So there's a
Yeah.
lot of competition, and it trips me out. We stream on average for 3 hours. We do a 3 hour show, 3 hour block, and there are certain people that are there for the entire 3 hours, and that trips me out. I don't have that. I don't have that attention span. I can't be anywhere for 3 hours, even at movies. Sometimes I'm like, I have to get out of here.
Mhm.
So it trips me out when someone is there the entire time. Like my moderators, the majority of them are there the entire time, and they're working for free essentially. Obviously, I take care of them. I take care of them in other ways where I send them merch and things like that, and I really appreciate their time. But it's their time that they give me, and it's it again it trips me out every time when I really think about it, and that's why I never really want to be. I never want to take it for granted. For those people who come every show, I never want to take it for granted, and that's a huge thing about it. So
If you got a message for people who are, looking to follow their passion, looking to go all in on something like, DJing or an interest, a hobby, quote unquote, that some people think are hobbies, what would be your message, man?
um, I would say pursue it. However, and again, if today, like I'm speaking to my younger self from 20 years ago,
Yeah.
or it's going to be like 15 years ago since I just quit my job from Levy Restaurants and moving into DJing full time, is pursue it, but have a plan. Don't just, okay, I'm going to just quit and just leave. That's kind of essentially what I did. Which wasn't the smartest idea. It wasn't the smartest idea, but
Okay. Okay.
I'm glad I don't have any regrets per se. But again, if you're going to just do something, have a plan. Um, and kind of have an idea of where you're going to go with it. If you're going to pursue any business, you're going to have a plan, right? Some people say, okay, if you have your own stuff, you're going to have a business plan. You need to know what you're going to potentially be doing next year, or the next 5 years. So definitely have something like that. Because it is important. You have to know where you're going. You can't just rely on, like a wing and a prayer, and sometimes, think good things do happen to you. Sometimes things do happen, but you have to make it. You have to make it happen, and you have to have the right mindset, a very positive mindset, and you can't doubt yourself. The moment you doubt yourself, and again, this is a cliche. Everyone says the only person holding you back is yourself. That's
Yeah.
true. I've held my back. I've held myself back many times, and for years, and DJing. I felt I could have been in a better position as a DJ business owner than I was at the time, and it was all in my head, and I doubted myself for a long time, and it was tough. You go through these emotions, and again, you start thinking about your spouse, the person you're with, and now fast forward, now I have kids. Now you got to think, okay, well, I can't just take a risk. I have to think about my family too. So again, if you have a family, a spouse, anyone, I say, do your best to pursue it, but have a plan, and
Hmm.
just don't doubt yourself.
That's huge. Don't doubt yourself. So I heard a quote. I'm big into quotes, obviously. I'm sorry. And some people think they're corny. I think they are just fascinating pieces of information to help you win. Ideas without a plan are just dreams. That's it. You can have all the ideas you want, man. You can write them down and you can be like, yeah, this is going to be great. You know, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But if you don't figure out the how, right, and you don't write it down and you don't commit to it and you don't structurally build towards creating that idea on a daily, consistent basis, it's just a dream. It's going to fade away. So your advice, I mean, I need to tell you this, but I'll tell you anyway. It's solid. It's super solid. And you're right, man. I have held myself back so many times when nothing else, no one else was holding me back. But the doubt, the uncertainty, the fear, the big three that holds people back were there and they were present, and I regret it. But it sounds like you have, and I did too. I forgave myself because whatever we are now, we had to go through that to learn this, and now we can leverage it, right?
Definitely. I mean, that's a huge thing, and I feel again, I don't feel, I guess I mentioned before, I'm not at the pinnacle where I feel like I know it all, or yes, I reached the mountaintop. I'm still going through these things. I have my
Yeah.
times where I'm like, man, I kind of doubt myself. I'm like, but again, it's about your mindset and your mentality is how can you flip that? I'm never someone who's like, oh, woe is me and poor me. I'm like, you know what? I talk to myself a lot. That's the one thing I do talk to myself a lot when I'm driving. I'm
Yeah.
like, man, get it together. Like,
Yeah.
this is not you. Who cares about what other people think? Because again, sometimes you may think that, oh man, well, this person's going to think this, or these people are going to think this of me. And again, as a streamer, I put myself out there every day. I post content nearly every day with videos and recaps of the show and things like that. And a lot of things about, I may have certain topics that I may clip and I put it on social media, and it could be my own opinion about certain things. And I put myself out there. And, luckily I haven't had trolls or anything, but still I put myself out there. And
Yeah.
sometimes I think, man, like I just said this stuff, like is anyone else going to think I'm weird or something?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
are people going to think I'm like too vain? I'm posting all my content, but I'm like,
Mhm.
who cares? Like, I have an audience for that, and I'm concerned about those people. I'm not concerned about those people outside of my audience who's either hating on me
Mhm.
or we actually, you know what? I did have an experience late last year. Our channel won the award for best visuals on Twitch. We
I
won,
voted.
and
I voted
yeah,
for you.
Shasi for help. Thank you for making that happen.
No, thank
So
you
we,
for
we
doing
we were nominated for two other categories as well. Best Mod
it.
Squad for Team Mod, and also Best Freestyle DJ, which that's what we do is freestyle.
Yeah.
So anyway, I won Best Visuals, and I'm thinking, man, that was like of the three awards that we were nominated for. I thought that was the last one we were gonna win, straight up. But we won, and to be honest with you, I wasn't happy initially when I won it.
Oh.
Because I had some feelings about it because not saying that I feel like I shouldn't have won it, but I had certain people made me feel like I shouldn't have won it. I would go in others' chats and I would kind of lurk in people's chats and, other people who were nominated and, oh, why did he win? Or, just little things like that making me feel like, I shouldn't have won it. And some of it was also in my head too. And it got to me. So I wasn't like, oh, screaming off the mountaintops, hey, I won and this is the best day. People are saying, oh, you should have a parade and stuff. I'm like, I feel the opposite of that. I feel like kind of like timid about it. Like, I
Hmm.
mean, I made a post that I won and I got a lot of love and that helped that with the balance. But, I had others, in my opinion, it's not a whole lot of people, but just I noticed other people kind of, shun me a little bit. I'm like, why? I didn't do anything. So that was kind of a situation I had where I'm like, man, I'm putting myself out there and I feel like, should I close in? But at the end of the day, again, our channel won. Our community is very supportive and happy that we won. Again, it wasn't just me; it was we won, and that's what it was about. This is not about me; it's about the channel.
Right.
So that's how I kind of flipped it, and obviously I'm way over it now. I can boast about it now, but at that time,
Yeah.
you go through these emotions, and it can
Right.
be all in your head, and you put yourself out there. You have to kind of expect love and expect hate. That's just how it
Right.
is. So
Well, reject what's useless and incorporate what is useful. I mean, that's just the way that it's got to be, right? And when you have the right people at the front of your mind, of your endeavors, what you're trying to do, you can't go wrong. And those people who show you love, those people who support you, the people who are backing you up, that's who we think about, right? Haters gonna hate, and they hate us because they ain't us. And sometimes people will hate on you, but here's the thing: those who are throwing shade, who are hating on you, who are criticizing you, they often are not doing as well as you. And from a psychological standpoint, they are looking at what you're accomplishing, what you're doing, what you're able to break free of, like fear, uncertainty, and doubt, right? And they look at themselves and they get upset. And people who get upset at themselves often don't direct their anger at themselves, so they have to direct it at you. So what we do, what I do, what I recommend people do is we cannot meet hate with hate. Okay. The best thing that we can do is, like you said, have the right mindset to focus on the people that we are looking to serve, pat ourselves on the back, take the accolades that we've received, and then see the people who are hating on us or saying negative things as people who are hurting, who are in trouble, who are not where they want to be. And we give them empathy, we give them mercy. We don't give them sympathy, but we understand where they're coming from. And once you know enough about the fact that when people are angry with someone who's successful, that being that they are really angry at themselves, or that they're not where they want to be, or that they know they could do something better and aren't doing it, it's easy to forgive them. And it's easy to let that stuff just roll off your shoulder, because it's not that you feel bad for them. It's that you understand that they're going through something they haven't been able to break through, and they have no other recourse. They have no other way of expressing themselves.
Definitely, man. I mean, it happens all the time with other people, whether it's in business or in friendships and things like that.
Yeah, man.
And you have to just stay grounded, and just stay focused on what you got to focus on. And they also say if you have haters or people trolling you, that means you're doing something right. So
Exactly. That's good stuff. I wrote some things down here that I wanted to talk to you about. Dude, we're from Chicago. We grew up on the South Side. It's the birthplace of house music. I was at a local donut shop here in Springfield, Illinois, called Mellow Cream. And this young lady who's been taking care of me for months now, she's got house music playing in the back. And she's dancing, she's having a good. I'm like, hey, are you from Chicago? She said, no. I said, well, you're playing house music in the back. And she's like, yeah, I mean, we used to party to this all the time. We used to hang out. People were dancing. It was just fun, upbeat music. So how often do you get to play house music on your channel? And what's your opinion of where it's at now?
So with house music, like I said, we normally do Saturday shows. I mean, I'm sorry, morning shows on Wednesdays and Saturday mornings.
Sure.
So Wednesdays, it's called Drippin' and Finesse, where we play a mix of stuff from the 70s to the 2010s. It's a mix of the hip hop, the disco, and all that. We do incorporate house on that Wednesday. So it could be anything from like not like the high energetic 90s house, the Show Me Love type house. Frankie Knuckles will slip some stuff in there as well. So yeah, we sprinkle it in definitely throughout the shows.
That's your roots, man. You got to do a little bit, right?
You have to. And again, you mentioned 90s growing up on the South Side.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember growing up, at least in my situation with my cousins, they would always, one question that you would always get, at least what I would, was, do you like house music or freestyle music? And at that time, I didn't really know the difference. I just thought freestyle sounded cool, like the name itself. Freestyle. Um, you know, Funny enough, now freestyle is the bread and butter of our channel. We do a big show every Saturday morning called Freestyle Saturday, and that's my love. That's my passion. That's what actually got me into DJing, number one, and also into streaming. So, and it's you mentioned about asking people, "Oh, you're from Chicago," even though you're in Springfield. When it comes to freestyle music, I was very like thinking, okay, yeah, it's from Chicago and New York and Miami. right? That's where I thought the
Yeah.
freestyle triangle.
Yeah.
But no, it's I don't want to say it's worldwide to a certain extent, but in the U.S. it was very big in the Bay, very big in Texas. So that's how I've built
Really?
this community. When people find out I'm doing freestyle, I had people from everywhere come, and I'm like, I feel kind of embarrassed. I'm like, I didn't know you guys had a huge community of freestyle music that
Yeah.
came from the Bay, from Texas, and it's like it blew my mind. So it's just funny how music does connect people, and it's a great conversation starter as well. When you hear something, oh, it's something cool you can kind of think and reminisce about. Think about those good times back in the day, the day of mixtapes. You get the mixtape, and or you make your girl a mixtape. Um,
There were no other
so
women besides our wives before us, right?
exactly, that's what I mean. In our heads, we're thinking for our wives.
Yeah, no, other
Um,
people do that. That's,
but yeah, man, that's the fun part of hearing music that you grew up listening to,
sure.
and again, talking about what we do in the stream, being able to talk about it, experiences. Oh, I remember this song at this stage of my life, or I remember this. I haven't heard the song in 20 years. That's the best feeling, and I still have that today. When I
Yeah,
go to other, again, it's not only just about our channel. I check out other streamers as well on the platform on Twitch, and I get inspired all the time. There are other DJs who play freestyle, play house. I'm like, man, I haven't heard this song since I had this mixtape back in '96. And I'm like, man, it just kind of opens up a rabbit hole that I'm digging through music, and that's the fun part about just loving music, and in my case being a streamer DJ, where I'm able to kind of collect all this and put them into playlists and be able to perform them and play them, and that's the fun part about what I do.
that's awesome. I'm so happy for you, Joe. Um, we used to chop it up. We used to go at it. For those of you who don't know, and for those of you who are fans of Bounce DJ and his stream and his mix events, I'll tell you what, man, you look great. And I saw you on a stream doing a shout out to Street Fighter 2. If you are over at Joe's house and he's got a Super Nintendo and he says, "Yo, you want to play some Street Fighter and put a little money on this?" That's a no. You should say no, because he will mop you up with E Honda or Chun Li, and that's just
Chun-Li.
confusing. Because who picks E Honda? Like, what are you doing? I remember you used to put it on 8 stars, full turbo, and what are you talking about, right? Then we'd go to Taekwondo practice, and you'd mop up there. This guy used to be, in my opinion, the best fighter in our school. I'm not just saying that, right? You're not paying me to be on here with you. You were the hardest fight of the day every single day, dude. And you don't have to say anything. I'm just telling you, right? I remember getting the first knockout, and this is crazy. This is what I mean when I say like things are different today, right? We practiced 6 days a week. We practiced for 2.5 hours. The first half hour was just stretching, right?
Mhm.
And we would do basics, a little bit of forms, and then the last 45 minutes to an hour was just fighting. It wasn't sparring. Let's be honest. We were going at it. We were Van Damme. We we were on Paul. Let's go, right? Like, and I remember the first time I ever got knocked out. You knocked me out like on a Saturday morning. It was either a spin heel kick to the head or a moon kick. You had a like unbelievable axe kick, right? And boom, I went down, and I remember just waking up, staring at the carpet. Remember the
Oh
carpet?
man,
Everybody used to get carpet burn.
yeah, I remember that. That was a very thin carpet too.
Oh man, it was way too thin. Hey, but it was what it was. I think that's why we were so good. It was like Clubber Lang in Rocky 3. We had the bare bones, and we just put in the work. And
And that was fun, man. Because again, we were in our own world. And I don't know if you
absolutely,
remember, man. I don't know if you remember again being in sixth grade. That was like when you enter sixth grade, you're in the pinnacle. You're starting to get cool now. You try to be cool, And I remember, I don't want to say friends. They weren't my friends, but you'd have the older classmen that'll come in, and they'll like dog us, and make comments. Oh, it smells in here, all this stuff, and make us feel bad for doing what we're doing.
mhm.
But we didn't care. Like, we're doing it. I mean, we're fighting. We love all this stuff. So you could have all these people outside making fun, but you know what? We did it. And if we get into a fight, watch out.
So fast. So, dude, we used to be so good. I know. Here's the thing. I don't want to go into the past and just like, we used to be, because we're pretty okay now, right? In just a different way. I can still kick a little bit. I still teach my kids.
Oh
A
yeah, it's
little
like
bit.
riding a bike.
Yeah, it is. It is. But I think what's important, and you talked about this when you were talking about music and how it brings you back, and how the past is something that is nice to visit. If we are to be entrepreneurs, right, we have to honor our past. We have to reflect and review what's happened and then leverage that information and those experiences for the future, right? Getting knocked out, I don't know of a better way to learn how to get back up, because you know how it was. Hey, you okay? Yeah, okay. All right, let's go. We still got 30 minutes. Let's go. Switch partners. You had to keep going. I didn't sit out. I didn't call my mom. I didn't. Are you okay? There was no light checking my pupils. We just went, and I think that's what you've been talking about here today. You gotta keep going. You gotta keep working. You gotta keep believing. You gotta take the hits, like Rocky said. Get up and fight again. Right? Can you keep going? And I think that's one of the major factors in a person's ability to succeed, right? Like you said, the streamers, they dropped off, but you're still fighting. You're still, quite literally, right? You're still doing good, and you built a community, and you have worked past the hate, the criticisms, the shade, and you're living your dream. You're living your passion, and now you're breaking into real estate, right? So we know that through history, you're going to be successful with that as well. So where are you? Tell me your real estate journey. I just had a gentleman who I went to college with. He's a real estate agent in Naples, Florida, Jason Zintarski.
All right, yeah, that was the episode I saw yesterday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great guy. He sold over 100 homes in a year and a half.
Oh wow.
What? Yeah, he didn't mention it.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. That's what most people do in a 10, 20-year career.
Right.
But he has the same secret sauce. Do what others aren't willing to do. Innovate, reflect, write down ideas, be all in, and do what you've been doing with Bounce DJ Mix events. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, man. It's again with the real estate thing. It's again going back to your network and knowing people or people who know you. There was a good friend of mine who was also a DJ. Me and him would work together events for many years, and then he ended up moving back home to New Orleans, where he's from, because he had his first son. And long story short, he had plans to move back down to South Florida, and he reached out to me, and he's been for several years putting the bug in my ears, like, you know what, you should get involved with real estate. You don't have to make it your full-time thing, but it's something I feel you would be good at. And if you don't like it, then you don't like it. So I was like, you know what? Last year I bit the bullet. I'm okay. February, let me start studying for the test, the exam, and make a commitment to this thing. I was like, when I commit to something, I commit 100%. So I studied, and I've never been the best test taker at all. It was very challenging going through the entire course, a lot of hours, you name it. Anyone will tell you that. Long story short, I didn't pass the first time, and a lot of people don't. Some people do.
Most people don't. It's like 80% that do not pass the first time.
Yeah, and I have to admit, I wasn't prepared. I just wasn't. After taking it, I'm like, I didn't know anything. I knew very little. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna set a date 2 weeks from today. I'm going to commit myself to study, do everything I need to do, take online courses, you name it, and I'm going to do this thing. So I felt really good the night before the test. I'm like, I'm going to do this thing. So I took the test. I passed it. As far as I know, I got 100%. They don't tell you how many you got wrong. They only tell me, I mean, they'll if you fail, they'll tell you how many you got wrong. But if you pass, they don't tell you how many you got wrong. So as far as I know, I got 100%.
Nice.
So yeah, I passed it. Again, I felt a sense of accomplishment. Like, you know what? I could do anything I want in this world. I could go fly a plane. I could do this. It's the feeling that I got. I'm not gonna fly a plane, but it's the feeling. I can do anything that I can achieve my mind to, and so I felt really good about it. So I passed it in July of last year. So
Congrats.
I've been still on the journey. I haven't made a sale technically yet.
Okay.
We did have a couple road bumps. Again, going back to the streaming side of it,
Sure.
I had some other things I need to accomplish. So I took a little detour from the real estate. However, I'm currently back in the mix and working on that first sale, and we have a few people on the line. So I feel confident about it and ready
Yeah.
to dedicate that side of things. Because again, life happens. I have the streaming. I'm Mr. Mom essentially as well with the family.
Sure.
You
Sure.
know, we all have different things, and sometimes some things can get pushed off to the side, and that's what I did with real estate this past year.
Hmm.
So now it's like, you know what? Let me dedicate some time to this. I want to make this happen. I need to make this happen, and I think all I need is just that one sale to really like kickstart my journey and build that confidence in me to know that, okay, yeah, I can do this and I could do a good job at it. So that's where I'm at currently.
That's awesome. I think you're going to kill it. I think you're going to do a great job. The sales are coming. Visualize, see it happening. I got to tell you straight up, I'm not planning on moving to Miami. So I will not be one of your sales. But if you ever get back into the Illinois area, which I know you come back, for the holidays and such, I might want to book you for an event. We're
Nice.
always looking, yeah, we're always looking, or just to have you down, man. You and the family, come enjoy Central Illinois. It's all cornfields, but Springfield's got a lot to offer.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun, man. Yeah, absolutely. We'll chop it
Land
up.
of Lincoln.
The land of Lincoln. That's right. Everything is Abraham Lincoln around. He's a pretty good guy, though. To be honest, I'm a fan. So Joe, Bounce, thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate you sharing your wisdom, your lessons. I really appreciate talking about the old days and just hearing your story. It's inspiring, it's motivating, it's educational, and it's exactly what we're looking for. Out of our podcast episodes. So.
No, definitely, man. Thank you for allowing me to be on this platform and sharing my story. And one final thing to just kind of leave off.
Please.
I don't want to make it seem like this is all me. It's just all me doing this. I have a huge support from my wife and my family and friends, my community. So, like anything else, if you're ever in a situation you feel down on yourself, ask for help.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest. A lot of us don't like to ask for help, but that's a key thing. And I don't want to take all the credit. I'm not going to say I know all this stuff and this is all me. I've had help all around from my family to my friends, my community. So I really want to give a real big shout out to them, because without them, I wouldn't be here in this position and how we're talking right now. So
class act. What a solid dude. You always have been. And you know what? I will say this. And this is proof that you are the solid guy that you just showed us you are. When I moved away, because we grew up together, but I moved away from Blue Island to Minooka, Illinois, you were one of the only dudes, if not the only dude, from our team at Champion Taekwondo off Western Avenue, Blue Island, Illinois. Still a great Olympic-style Taekwondo institute. Got to get that in there. You were the only one who used to call me and be like, "Yo, what's up? How are you doing? How's everything been? What's going on? Are you still a Sox fan?" And I appreciate that, man. I really appreciated it. As a kid in a new town, trying to make it, it was nice to get those phone calls and to talk to you. And I really appreciate that, man. You've always been a class act. And I will say this, speaking of the Sox, your dad and you, me, and Jason, we went to a Sox game, and that was the first baseball game I had ever been to. And I remember we got some Pizza Hut pepperoni slices, dude, and Robin Ventura hit a homer, dude. There were fireworks. I was like, this is amazing.
Oh yeah, I remember that, man. That was great memories for sure.
Great memories. Well, anyway, thanks again, Joe. Thank you, Bounce. I appreciate it. Everybody, listen, like, follow, subscribe. You can catch Bounce DJ on his stream. It's at Bounce DJ on twitch.tv. Give him a call if you're in Miami and you need someone to really spice up your event. The guy's a quality dude who is a professional. And don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, comment, all the wonderful things on Ziebler & Associates Facebook page. Thank you so much, Joe. I really appreciate it,
Awesome.
my friend.
Thank you, man. I appreciate your time.
No, it's my pleasure, dude. Take care of yourself. All right.
All right, man. Take care.
Bye.